What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 141. And I know today's not Sunday, I know, but we are a day out from my last bodybuilding show. I'm not really going to go into detail as to why I'm hanging up my trunks, as I call them. As far as being a competitor. I'm getting older, and don't get me wrong, the fire is still there, everything is still there, the competitiveness is still there. Um, my body is just tired. Um, my body's tired, dieting, but it seems like every year for 6 months, or however long it takes me, to get into the contest shape that I need to get in. Um, it's taxing, not just physically but mentally on the body and my mind. I have no problem dieting, eating the food, and getting into shape. It's everything else. I'm not the most social person, as you can. Well, the hoodie's backwards on the screen, but it says introverted but willing to discuss 90s R&B, which is true. I am extremely introverted, to the point where I can go a whole day and not talk to anybody. And if I could do that for 40 hours a week, I'd be cool. And still get paid. But no, in the grand, in all seriousness, in the grand scheme of things, man, I have so many other gifts to give this world. Um, I'm actually working on a book. Um, I've had that on the back burner for years, and it's basically the title of the book. Not basically, but the title of the book is "Growing Up Black and White," and talks about not just my upbringing, but you know, being biracial and being African American, Spanish and Japanese, and almost like an identity crisis, if you want to call it that, because it was really difficult for me to fit in. Number one, I don't want to say because I'm biracial. That was the only thing, but it was difficult too because I have a physical disability. So on top of that, I never really fit in with people. People knew I wasn't black, but just black, but I was mixed with something else, right? And not only that too, the microaggressions and just the the subtle racism, that you encounter because you know that every joke got a little bit of truth to it, and it's like you want to act like it doesn't offend you, but it really does, right? And and the one thing I gravitated towards was, and it will always be, music. Um, I could get lost in that for hours. I still can get lost in that. Um, there are days where I lose sleep because I'm up working on the beat, or I'm up working on the Life album, or Scorpio Time Scorpio, or digging through my crates. Those are some of the projects I'm working on, and I'm working on the shit, if not every day, almost every day. Because for me, that's what just gives me freedom, I should say. It gives me a mental escape where I can just throw my headphones on and I can just work, and I don't know, man. It's like bodybuilding gives me the same thing. And then as I got older, I remember the first time I saw a bodybuilding video or clip. It was a mashup of Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was basically a clips of him from pumping iron, right? But it had this badass soundtrack, and it was back in the day when MySpace was still popular. This how long ago it was. This is like 2004, maybe 2005. I don't know what it is, right? But I remember telling myself like, yo, you can do this. You can physically change your body. Um, I just, I don't know what it was, man. Probably was a lot to do with my upbringing and everything else that played a role into it. And I didn't really have the most supportive support system, if that makes any sense. You know, of course, my parents supported me and everything too. And my dad didn't really understand. Like, he understood weight training and everything too, but he didn't really understand why I gravitated towards weight training. And the difference between weight training and bodybuilding is that guys in the gym who just, who weight train, they just moving weight. Bodybuilders, we're literally sculpting our body. We have that mind to muscle connection where we're literally creating that connection. Okay, we want our biceps to, and this is just me using this shit as an example. Like, we want to create that connection where when we squeeze, we get the ultimate squeeze possible within that particular muscle group. And it goes for any muscle group, not just your biceps, whatever it is, right? He never really understood why I gravitated towards this. And I don't think I ever really explained it. I gravitated towards it because it was something I could physically see. It was something I could physically see myself and see my body change and know it was a positive and everything else, right? I could see my body physically changing for the better. And that just got me addicted. It got me addicted to where I remember days when I was in my teens. I'll be in that fucking gym for like 2 to 3 hours, bro. I would call out of work to go lift weights. That's how, I want to use the term dedicated, but skipping work to go lift weights, wasn't really the brightest move. But when you're working minimum wage and you're in high school, nobody gives a fuck, And bodybuilding, man, some of the greatest people I've met, friends, family, friends who became family. Some of my best friends is like, I've seen them, be single. We do bodybuilding shows together. They get married. They have kids, and it's crazy because it's like you wouldn't think that a gym of that culture or something of that as inclusive as bodybuilding would have other people, branch off into different things and whatnot. And bodybuilding, man, it's like, how I explain it would be, it's addicting. It's a rush. It's a rush because you're around people doing the same thing. And like, don't get me wrong, the gym I train at now, it's a great gym. IBB pros train there, everyday guys train there, guys who compete in local shows, national shows. Hell, even some of the guys in Olympia train there. And even celebrities like The Rock pop in every once in a while too. And so it's a really great atmosphere, man. But it's like, the one thing about me and the one thing with bodybuilding, man, is like, it's forever changed my life. For the better. I say 95% of the time is for the better. And with that being said, this is my last bodybuilding competition. I'm not stepping away because I have to. I'm not stepping away because something's going on with me, anything else, because there's really not, I'm stepping away from this because I feel that the goal that I set out for myself, which is to become an IBB pro, I don't think I can reach that. And I'm not saying that I can't reach it. I'm not saying, am I really to risk, my health, my longevity, all this shit for a piece of paper? And I'm really not, I'll be 35 in about a month and a half. And let's be real with you, man. It's like bodybuilding, man. It's a young man's sport. You know, it's a sport where guys who have genetics, they're superior. You know, and I'm not saying that I don't want to be 200 fucking pounds walking around fucking yoked out of my goddamn mind. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. It's not comfortable. It's not. I've been 200 pounds, fat. It's not comfortable. The amount of food too. Don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna eat clean. I'm still gonna do everything else that I have been doing. Because that's my knowledge, man. I'm still gonna train people. I'm still gonna help people with the diets and workout plans. I'm still gonna do all that. But as far as the competitor in me, nah. In this arena, nah. Because like I said, I'm working on this book. I got other things I want to do in terms of music. And lastly, man, as crazy as this may sound, because I know I said I've designated myself to be that cool uncle at the party. I actually want kids, bro. Believe it or not, man. Give me one or two of them little bad motherfuckers and have me raise them. And I say that because who doesn't want to have kids, man? I mean, I get it. Some people don't, and that's fine. It's whatever. But I think it's cool to have, to shape somebody, and to have him or her become an extension of you. And I don't mean extension of you like me living vicariously through my kids. I'm never going to do that. But what I am going to do is, hey, the one thing we're not going to do, we're never going to quit. We're never going to quit because it got too difficult. Now, what I'm doing with this competitive bodybuilding is different. Because people say, yeah, but you quitting this. No. I'm stepping away. I'm stepping away because I feel myself becoming consumed by it. Where I'm dieting for 6-7 months out the year. I'm prepping for shows. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I'm not having a social life. I'm not doing everything else because my mind's fixated on one thing. And don't get me wrong, obsession is great. Obsession is cool. But like I said, there's so many different gifts that I have that the world's got to hear, or got to read, in this aspect, right? And I owe that to myself to explore these gifts too, because I've explored bodybuilding. I've seen what it's like, not just at the local level, but I've talked to guys who've done nationals. So I know guys who do the Olympia every year, and they said, bro, like, unless your heart's 100% in this sport, there's no point in you doing what you're doing because, number one, you're fucking up your health because of the food, and everything else that we got to do. And believe me, the fucking food is ridiculous. Bro, at one point in time, I was eating 10, 12 ounces of food every fucking meal. And I'm eating 3, 4, 5 times a day. So you times that out, bro. And everything else that comes with the sport. And like I said, man, I think it's imperative to know when to step away from certain things and know when, okay, you may want to do this, but as far as the competitive side of me, it's never going to go away. All I'm going to do is refocus my competitiveness into different arenas. And once I do that, shit, it's a wrap. Because one thing about me being a competitive bodybuilder, and the one thing I don't like about myself is that I'm not a joyous person to be around. Depending on how far the show is or whatever it is, I'm not the type of dude who what's the word I'm looking for? Who's able to be around other people for an extended period of time. And not that I'm antisocial or whatever it is, but bodybuilding just consumes you. It consumes you to the point where nothing else matters. I mean, hell, I remember being in conversations with people and literally tuning them out to a point where I can't hear what they're saying. I'm looking at them, but I can't hear what they're saying. And when people come to me with bullshit and drama, I mean, because I'm the same way either which way. I don't give a fuck. You know? I really don't. And a lot of people look at me, they're like, and you know, they're like, wow, you really are an asshole. I was like, no, not really, because we sitting there having the same conversation about the same bullshit we talked about last time. And the time before that, and the time before that, and the time before that. So it's like, in the grand scheme of things, it's like, the one thing about bodybuilding that makes it really difficult is that you end up being around people and then you realize that these people that you're around, they don't want to get better. They just want to bitch about the same thing. They want to complain about, you know, the ex, you know, their boyfriend or their baby daddy or this and this and that, right? Or yada, yada, yada. But I'm getting off topic. But my point is, bodybuilding requires 100% dedication and zero distractions. And which brings me to the kid thing, man. Having kids would be great. And well, first, I gotta get a stable relationship first. I gotta go find a girl who wants to be in a relationship with me and who can put up with my goofy ass. Cause outside of prep, I'm a motherfucking goofball. I cannot take shit seriously at all, and it drives women crazy. Cause they look at me, they're like, "How the fuck you can't?" I'm like, baby, it ain't that serious. Or if I'm really feeling you, I'm gonna do what they call living in my soft man energy. And it's like, I'm gonna be understanding, I'm gonna be compassionate to a point, but I'm gonna be like, yo, maybe it ain't them, maybe it's you. You know, maybe if you stop doing the shit that you've been doing, you would realize that, you know, that what you have going on is actually detrimental. And again, it's not a shot to other people. It's not a shot to, you know, any particular individual who's going to see this podcast or whatever it is. Yeah. And lastly, man, when I said I'm going to still train people, I'm still going to do that. Still going to write diet plans, still going to write workout plans. Prices may go up. You know, inflation's a motherfucker. You know, it all depends. But yeah, man. As far as this journey into competitive bodybuilding goes, yeah, tomorrow it's my last one, and I say it's my last show ever, but it all depends on it depends on a lot of things. But as of right now, you know, your boy's hanging up his trunks, and I'm gonna go see what these other arenas are talking about, because, like I said, there's more to me than just bodybuilding. You know, and it's been something that's been on my mind for about a month or so, and I think that I owe it to myself to realize, okay, I think you tapped out your potential in this, and this is all you got to give right now, or this is all you have, and are you satisfied with what you brought to the table? Because every show that I've done, because I've done like fucking 6 shows, and every show I've done, I've gotten better, placed higher, did everything I could to get better, packed on size, packed on muscle, size and muscle, same thing. And I packed on weight, with good weight. And but the one thing about me, man, I don't like how the gym consumes me and my mentality and everything too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get off work and I'm like, yeah, I get to go lift weights now. You know what I mean? That passion, that drive is still there. It's always going to be there. But in terms of stepping on stage and getting a fucking spray tan and doing all this shit, nah. And lastly, man, I don't like the person I become when I'm on prep. I'm moody. I'm short with people. I just, I don't like me sometimes. Put it that way. You know, that happy, that jovial dude that y'all see all the time. That's me 24/7. But something happens when I'm on prep. I flip that switch. And what I call Dr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde comes on, and Mr. Hyde is he's a dude that's not really friendly, and I got to work on that, I'm not blaming anybody else. I'm not blaming prep. I'm not doing anything else like that. But this is about 22 minutes of your life that you won't get back. Hope y'all keeping it 4-piece, private player, positive pushing. I'll see y'all next week. And yeah, we checking out. Ghost.